Hey y'all, so today I want to share 3 reasons why your pelvic health is a direct reflection of how you care for yourself. If you're ignoring you, leakage becomes much harder to resolve. So let's get into it. If you're a high achieving woman, you're juggling career, family, and everything in between, there are days, months, maybe even years that you feel like you're in straight survival mode. And that may sound extreme, but that's exactly what it is when you look at the true definition. Survival mode is defined as prioritizing your immediate needs over long-term well-being. So it's really not that extreme to think that every mom or woman on the planet knows exactly what it feels like to be in survival mode. Now, this impacts your pelvic health because if you're in survival mode, you can't address that stream going down your leg with every single sneeze. Instead, you're thinking immediate need. You're packing a to-go bag, you're stuffing undies in every pocket of your purse, and maybe even a change of clothes because what's more important to you is the right now. You're thinking, if I pee on myself, I need an immediate solution. I need to be able to change because I don't want to be walking around with wet underwear. But that mindset and being in survival mode is what keeps you wet and having to change your underwear all day long, because that's not addressing why you're wet in the first place. And you're so deep into surviving that even the thought of finding a solution feels like one more plate you're trying to balance on the stack that's already a mile high on the top of your head. Now let's dive into the 3 reasons this is crucial for your pelvic health. The first reason your pelvic health is a direct reflection of how you care for yourself is because getting the full story of what your pelvic floor does helps you to stay in tune with your body and to know when something's wrong. If you're just simply in surviving mode, you lose the connection to your body. Now that stream going down your leg is an actual indication that something's wrong, but if you ignore that, what else have you chosen to ignore about your health? And this isn't a judgment or a put down. It's really an invitation to take a look at where you need to take a moment to pause and evaluate. This matters for your pelvic floor because that stream that you can't control is kind of getting your attention, but it's usually not the full story. I've shared before that I'm anemic, and what originally got my attention was some changes in my hair, but my body was sending all kinds of signals. I'm tired. I'm losing my appetite. I started noticing weird cravings for crunchy things. So although the hair was what got my attention, not eating affects my energy and overall wellness. Biting crunchy things involves my teeth and it impacts my oral health. So just like the hair changes weren't the full story for my anemia, the stream going down your leg isn't the full story for your pelvic floor. And when you understand all that your pelvic floor does, you have a better understanding as to how much it impacts when things go wrong. So I want you to remember the word power. And that word is significant because knowledge really is power. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard women, express their frustration and sadness. Why aren't we taught this? Why don't we know more about our bodies? And once they become empowered and begin to understand their anatomy and what the body actually does, then they can understand how much that power of your pelvic floor is so influential. Power is the pelvic floor's direct ability to influence your behaviors and your muscle function in your body. The P in power stands for pressure regulation. So your pelvic floor is supposed to open and close, to hold things in and let things out. The O is for organ support. So everything that takes up space in your pelvis, your bladder, your uterus, your vaginal canal, your intestines, all of those things are held by your pelvic floor. The W stands for well-being and intimacy. So your sexual function, your ability to experience pleasure during sex is impacted by your pelvic floor. The E stands for efficient circulation. Your pelvic floor is a big source of pumping blood and fluid throughout your entire body. And the R stands for resilient stability. Your pelvic floor is part of your core. It connects to your abdominal muscles, your back muscles, and your hip muscles. So if you're having a hard time controlling the stream with every sneeze, having difficulty having an orgasm, do you feel pressure at the vagina when you stand for a few hours? Your pelvic health is a direct reflection of how you care for yourself, and one of the main reasons you shouldn't ignore any symptoms that connect to your power. Number 2 is redefining self-care. And this matters for your pelvic floor because self-care is an actual practice. And if you think it means getting a mani-pedi once a week or scrolling through social media for relaxation, then you are more likely to also think that caring for your pelvic floor only involves doing Kegels. And in order to redefine self-care, I want to first quickly define what it actually is. Self-care is a practice of establishing behaviors to improve one's own health. So typically when we hear self-care, we are often biased to think that that means doing something external, doing something that makes us feel good externally. So the mani-pedis, the bubble baths, candles, even buying a new workout outfit. But self-care is an actual practice. It's not just one appointment. It's establishing regular behaviors and things that you just don't compromise. Now, this looks different for every person, but it usually does involve your sleep hygiene, stress management, and even down to your food choices. Number 3 is not being able to slow down and being busy all the time. Like you're a go getter and you find pride in getting it done. But this matters for your pelvic floor because if you can't slow down and aren't intentional about taking time to rest and recover, you won't ever slow down enough to use the bathroom. And I actually see this a lot with women. Women typically have higher rates of constipation. And although there is an anatomical component of that, I've actually heard clients say things like, I don't want to be in the bathroom all day. Like I need to get in and get out. I just want to get it over with. And so when we compare ourselves to our male counterparts, they could take a literal vacation on the toilet and be just fine. So I'm not saying you need to be in the bathroom for 30 minutes to poop. What I am saying is that if you find that giving yourself 5 minutes seems like a task to go to the bathroom, it's time to reconsider how you're managing your time. Slowing down to poop helps you completely empty. Sitting down and giving yourself that time allows your pelvic floor to relax so that you're not pushing, straining, and rushing, trying to get out of there. So what you do outside of the bathroom as it relates to rest and recovery will impact what happens inside of the bathroom because all that rushing, pushing, and straining actually puts a strain on your pelvic floor that is contributing to that stream you can't control when you sneeze. So there you have it. Those are my top 3 reasons why how you're caring for yourself has a direct reflection on how you care for your pelvic health. And as always, if any of this resonates with you, click the link below so we can dive deeper one-on-one and get to the bottom of that stream going down your leg and any other pelvic health concerns.